Okay, kids, the word of the day is filler. Yes, folks, we're talking about Sistas Season 6, Episode 2, Full Circle Moments. I want to be completely honest with you. If you're expecting my usual review of an episode where I talk about it from top to bottom, as well as give, my full commentary on it, you're not going to get it this week. Why? Because technically speaking, I did that yesterday because BET dropped an article on Tuesday breaking down the entire episode. So if you want a beat for beat episode review, just go back to my video that I posted yesterday. The thumbnail should be Andy and Gary, and I talk about how BET, dropped the full review or recap of episode 2 already. This video itself, I did 2 lives last night. One on Instagram, one on YouTube. Like I said before, the video where I go over the article recapping the episode. And I had a good time tweeting as well. Heck, I even tweeted like, yo, BET, can y'all drop an article each week? Because the one good thing that came out of this was the fact that I didn't have to take any notes last night. I was able to just watch the episode and tweet, and I think I had more fun because of it. Now, if I were to score the episode, it would be, okay, in some ways I feel like this score is a bit high, but since I did have somewhat of a good time, I will give it a 6 out of 10. And I know people during the live stream were like, damn, I would give it a lower score than that. But like I said before, instead of doing like a full-on recap, I just wanted to talk about one of my issues with season 6 so far. It's the fact that there have been a number of times within the first 2 episodes where plot points that were established in season 5 between characters all of a sudden are written to be, no, that's not how we originally planned it. Or characters not knowing things that they should know. I think last week the biggest what the heck is going on here was the whole Pam not knowing the light meant that the curlers weren't off, but they were actually still on, despite in season 5 we get a full-blown scene of Pam recognizing, oh shit, these were on all night, let me cut them off. To last night's episode, I had at least 6 moments where I was confused as hell, and most of those scenes came from the characters' confusion themselves. Like, for example, Preston talking to himself in the truck, like, Preston, what are you doing? And I'm like, I've been asking the same question since season 4. It's ironic that yesterday I posted a video about I'm bored, and I talked about the various Tyler Perry shows, how most of them, okay, here's why I stopped reviewing them, and even the ones I'm still reviewing, for the most part, I'm getting bored. And then we have an episode like this drop, and I'm like, yeah, this just reinforces the way I feel. Granted, that doesn't mean I want to quit doing what I do. I'd be stupid to do that, but it's just an honest moment. I don't know why in the world Maurice is out of jail. When we watched last night's episode together, and I'm referring to all the other viewers, I think I speak for everyone when I say this fool should still be behind bars. Every time he opens his mouth, and I looked at Calvin and Sabrina, and I'm just like, I kind of feel for y'all, because I'm wondering what the hell were y'all thinking. I feel like that's what's going through their minds right now. Like, I can't believe we were willing to do whatever it took to get this man, or this queen, this friend of ours, out of jail. Yet he is determined to keep fucking up over and over again. I am literally, like I said before, I was so confused during this episode. I am trying to wrap my mind around what Maurice is trying to accomplish. Yes, it's already been established in the show that, oh, he hides his pain and his emotion, and, his panicky feelings by cracking jokes and whatnot. But when this is a situation where you were the one who majorly screwed up, this is no time for that attitude of yours. I'm not a woman, but I do feel a sense of disgust whenever he calls Sabrina out of his name, or excuse me, out of her name by using the B word. It's derogatory. And it's ironic because last season during the whole Karen's letter bull crap, Fatima talked about how the B word, between, her and her friends is a term of endearment, but in other, scenarios is like a sign of, a call of action for war. And then when Maurice constantly calls Sabrina's that, it's kind of like the difference between, I remember, years ago, like when Kevin Hart was really blowing up. I remember, I think a coworker or a college buddy at the time, I forgot, but either way, I remember her specifically saying, yeah, the difference between like Cat Williams and Kevin Hart, when Kevin Hart is telling, doing stand-up or telling jokes, you can tell he's trying to, be funny. But with Cat Williams, more often than not, it's hard to tell if he's trying to be funny while cracking a joke or be hurtful. When it comes to Maurice, it just seems like he's just lashing out at everybody, especially Sabrina, when he uses the B word. And it just makes me wish we had another scene like season 5 where Andy told his ass off. Because this is when we enter the realm of Tyler Perry logic or lack thereof. Even though it was Q's gun and he was the one that pointed at Maurice, at the end of the day, Maurice shot Q. In what world would Maurice, the shooter, be allowed to go into the hospital room of the victim Q? Seriously, I'll wait for you to answer because I sure as hell don't know. Calvin nearly beat this man to death with a golf club and he wouldn't confess. I don't know how Maurice is supposed to get a confession out of Q. Even worse is that he's honestly making me feel like, the disdain I felt towards Danny last season. I mean, especially during the moment when Sabrina, I ain't gonna lie, feisty Sabrina in this episode is best Sabrina. From her dragging Maurice's ass through the door to just telling him off, I was here for all of it. Here's the thing. Calvin and Sabrina rightfully calling out Maurice for this being his fault, and then he's going to act like he's the victim in all this, like y'all ganging up against me. Motherfucker, this is your fault. This is just like Danny in terms of how she reacted to, the girls coming by her place at the end of season 5, and I still stand on the belief that, honestly, I don't think they had anything to apologize for. But regardless, it's his fault. And I still don't understand the whole full investigation because thanks to Sabrina's efforts, she was the one that was responsible for the bank heist going wrong. Getting sabotaged. So why is she being placed under investigation when Maurice was the one who's been seen engaging with Q outside of, the bank, staying at his place, this, that, and the third? It makes no sense at all. Oh yeah, Maurice did try to take a jab at Calvin in terms of, and where do you work, Calvin? He owns a construction company. This was established early in episode 2. Let's see, I think that does for the Maurice stuff. The Zatima scene, my goodness, this scene alone really brought light to the episode because I cannot remember the last time we had a scene in the morning. Fatima comes downstairs ready to go to work. She and Zach have a conversation. Jokes are told. Hug, kiss, say I love you. And Fatima leaves the house with a smile. I cannot tell you the last time I remember a moment like this. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I was here for it last night. And I don't know why all of a sudden Zach canonically is not good at cooking, because what he made looked good to me. Maybe because I'm hungry right now and I need to eat breakfast. But from there, he calls Heather about meeting their son. And, she's getting off of work. She claims that her sister takes care of him at night. Then during the day when she's asleep, He's left to his own devices, literally TV, tablet. The door is locked so he can't get outside. Not trying to, shame, but it's sad how real and common Heather's parental tactics are, where you leave children to their own devices to be raised by electronics and TV, and you go about your business. But I don't know. I'm not trying to get into a spiel about, black households being broken homes where, it's not always a mom and a dad under the same roof raising a child. But, have at it in the comments if you want. So from there, we got the Andy Gary stuff. Not much to talk about there. So we got Andy driving Danny home from the bar, and you got a situation where, hey, I love you, right? And it's like, we didn't come from a bad place. We just wanted to make sure you're okay. And then it's like, I want to let go of Gary. It'll happen, yada, yada, yada. So when she gets home and Gary's in the bed covered with the flower petals and whatnot, it's just a situation where she tells him to go to the guest room. Simple as that. But yet again, we have another scenario where season 5 lore seems completely undone. Why is it a big deal? Or why is it some sort of surprise to Gary that Andy is upset about the whole attempted hostile takeover of the law firm? He already knew that she knew that he was responsible for this, given the fact that in the bathroom of the penthouse last season, while they were getting ready to go to work, she made it clear that she was upset with him due to the fact that she's trying to make partners. So switching hands from Robin to another, owner might screw up her ascension up the corporate ladder. And all about trying to gain control and all this other nonsense when, like I just said, it makes no sense for it to be like some sort of new thing now, when last season it was already established. Tamara looked fine as hell in that red. Okay, Fatima's outfit from head to toe, the yellow shoes and, the top of her outfit, which was like a mix of blue, white, green, and yellow. Oh man, I was here for that. Sabrina looking fine as hell in her outfit. It wasn't even just the outfit, just her skin and hair were next level this episode. Not to say that it usually isn't, but it was just something about, the way she looked. I mean, maybe because her outfit, like the dress and whatnot, allowed her legs to be shown off. I mean, hell, even the way we saw her foot when she was sitting on her one of her legs on the couch. I don't know why, just it set me off. All of it. It was, oh man. And then Tamara in the all red. Also, okay, so Gary calls Hayden about Andy being mad, and as I said, it's pretty dumb for him to be shocked by this. So then we have, Hayden just sprung by Tamara, trying about, getting her a job and how she'll come by to bring him some lunch later in the day. And from there, she calls Fatima, and we have another example of a character where it's like, why are you acting like this character is going off script? Fatima got Madam to send her biggest, baddest gold digger to deal with Hayden, to serve as a distraction, to tell Fatima his every move, and then to take him for everything he's got in the same way that Hayden was trying to take Zach's money away. Now all of a sudden, oh no, Tamara's trying to do too much. She's not being paid. The gifts and lavish lifestyle are her payment. And now Tamara's like, no, I'm going to get it all. And it just feels like she's about to fuck up and be exposed as a result of her actions. So I was very confused by that. We got a sneak peek last night. I didn't even bother posting it or going over it. It was clear that it would be the cliffhanger ending. Pam, I think, was really rude to Aaron for no reason at all. And she feels like she's entitled to know about this woman at the salon because, you made it my business when she came at us in the parking lot. First of all, she didn't come at anybody but John. She leaned over and was asking Karen questions like, oh, did he tell you he loved you? Did he make you feel like you were the only one? Pam, you were 2 cars away from the scenario. And nobody even asked you to come out there. So why are you trying to make it like you have a stake in all this? So then she pulls up to the salon, and that's the end of the episode. But going back through, I'm just, I got my mouse hovering over the episode right now. trying to make sure I covered everything. Honestly, I think aside from the Danny, Jonah, and Preston stuff, that's about it. So we're about to wrap up things here. So Danny gets home, Jonah's there, and, you know, her fridge is empty, which I feel like is an entire mood. No, I'm not making fun of Danny's refrigerator. I'm honestly like, yeah, that's an entire mood. So she has some beer and whatnot in there, and that's about it. So she takes out this bottle. Look, I get it. It's a TV show. These are props. So she takes out a bottle like, okay, I'm going to drink this. But then when she smashes it against his head, there's like zero liquid, which I thought was kind of funny. Yes, I know this is not the first time in a Tyler Perry show that a character gets bashed upside the head with something and there's no liquid. Case in point, Have and Have Nots. When Catherine cracked Candace's head with a wine bottle, no liquid. When Jeffrey did the same thing to Quincy, no liquid. And the list, I think, when Sabrina did it to Alonzo in season 1 of Sistas, no liquid. But regardless, her and Jonah get into it, and this fight didn't really do it for me. Hear me out. The fight itself, well choreographed, you know, in terms like the table flipping, Danny going for a knife but not being able to get it. I wish I could say she was holding her own, but he was literally about to strangle the life out of her. And then all the while, Preston is debating whether or not to go in, which he eventually does. And he winds up saving her. The best part is when he and Danny tag team his ass and started beating him on the floor. And it got to the point where this dude is like twitching like a black snake that's just been run over in the highway, which I thought was pretty cool. But from there, the police come and he's arrested. Come to find out, the next morning he makes bail. What the hell? And Preston insists that he spends the night to make sure she's okay, and that he's going to send Mindy back to Texas, and he'll stay with her, which she agrees to, but also points out it couldn't be me. Like, what is it with you white people and whatnot? And I'm just going to throw this out here. Danny is allowed to make all these statements about white people and calling white people all sorts of, you know, different names outside of white people, like you all, y'all, and, you know, white people and whiteys. Yet when Preston says gal unknowingly offensive to Danny, she can go off about that. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm just wondering, kind of like the Jonah thing, I didn't really feel anything because it just felt forced. All for the sake of getting Preston and Danny back together. Because in what world does Preston look good in all this? Yes, he saved Danny. But at the same time, he has a whole ass fiance that he is going to send back to Texas to stay at the apartment of the woman he apparently is in love with. It feels like Mindy was solely introduced just for the sake of getting Preston and Danny back together. Also, another pairing that I just feel like out of nowhere is being rammed down our throat. Why all of a sudden is Maurice again trying to get Calvin and Sabrina together? You know that man's in love with you, and you're going to call him? It's like one episode, I'm sick of y'all and you two, Calvin, and you Sabrina, you just need to grow up and mature and go your separate ways. And then it's like, are you going to call him? No. Who the hell is shipping these two? It's stupid. All right? Okay, I'm done. And that's the episode itself. Like I said, it was skippable for the most part. I mean, if you wanted to see a Jonah beatdown, then yeah, you get it. You get it. I mean, Rodeo beat the crap out of him, but that's about it. Yeah, this episode was mid. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.